Welcome to Viewmont High School for High School Rewind. Game of the week. I am Dusty Litster. Thanks for joining us. Our matchup, the Lone Peak Knights and the Viewmont Vikings. Welcome, everybody. So glad to have you along with us. A chance to see one of the best teams in the state and one of the best programs in the country in Lone Peak tonight on High School Rewind as they take on a Viewmont team that comes in playing very, very well in the early part of the season, coming off a tough loss, but they do have a lot of confidence coming into this ball game. Viewmont comes in 2-1 on the season. They lost just a night ago, 58-56 against rival Woods Cross. A tough loss for the Vikings, but they come in with a lot of confidence. But they also come in having played Lone Peak every year for a number of years, so there shouldn't be big eyes or anything like that for Viewmont. We expect them to perform well in tonight's game. It'll be very interesting. A couple of names you need to keep in mind. Those two names are Jake Walker and Austin Johnson. Between those two players, they're averaging 32 points for Coach Jeff Emery and the Vikings. They're going to have to be on point offensively tonight for Viewmont to stay within striking distance of Lone Peak. Well, the Knights come in tonight with a tough loss last week in Chicago at the Chicago Elite Tournament. They lost that game in overtime by 3 points. Frank Jackson, their leading scorer and top recruit in the state of Utah, probably the top prospect in the Intermountain West, had 28 points in that ball game. Played very, very well for Coach Quincy Lewis. The Lone Peak Knights are now back home for a couple of games. They'll play tonight. They'll play on Friday against a team from Massachusetts, and then they are off the Tarkanian Classic down in Las Vegas at Bishop Gorman High School. So the Knights have a lot going on in this month. We expect them to be rested, ready to go. This should be a lot of fun. We'll get a couple of names. Also get to learn a lot more about Lone Peak tonight and also about Viewmont. Well, you know our teams and a couple of players to look out for. When we come back, we'll be opening tip-off. You are watching High School Rewind only on Xfinity On Demand. And we're set for the opening tip-off. Jumping for Lone Peak is number 30. That is Dylan Heaton. And for Viewmont, number 24, Austin Johnson. Talk about Austin in the open. And control to Viewmont Vikings and Frank Jackson. Young man was a commit to Brigham Young, since decommitted, and the three-pointer good from Tyson Doman. And it's a quick 3-0 lead for the Knights. Back down the floor with Viewmont. Now it's Braden Aldridge. Aldridge drops it inside. Johnson follow away. Jay rolls off the rim, and the rebound collected by Doman. Doman ahead to Frank Jackson. Jackson pull up three. And Jackson is his first shot, and we got a quick timeout from Coach Emery with 7:26 remaining. Lone Peak takes 2 shots, 2 threes. They lead 6-0. So out of the timeout, here come Viewmont Vikings. Mentioned open 2-1 on the season, at a tough loss just a night ago, 58-56 against Woods Cross. Inside out, three-pointer on the way, off the mark, and a rebound collected by Aldridge, but he couldn't stay in bounds, and we'll go with Lone Peak. So back down the floor with Jackson and the Knights. Into the corner, Papula. Papula in the lane, left-hander, left it short, and out of bounds off of Lone Peak, and we'll go with Viewmont. So down the floor now with Aldridge, and Viewmont looking to get on the board here in this possession. This is Josh Richens. Richens hands off deep, 3 on the way. Rims out on the hands of Jake Walker. Rebound collected by Doman. Now on the push with Frank Jackson. Jackson to the corner, Papula for 3. And it lips out twice. And the rebound still loose and collected by Aldridge. Aldridge into the front court. Up top with Richens. Richens near side to Aldridge. Into the corner. This is Austin Johnson to the rim. Leaves it too strong. Papula with the board. Back down the floor with the Knights. Doman. Spencer Curtis kicks it out to Heaton for 3. That's off the mark. And back down the floor with Austin Johnson and the Vikings. Jake Walker, Johnson now on the far side to Aldridge. Aldridge drops it inside of the big fella. He can't finish, and he's fouled by Frank Jackson. And going to the line is James Walton. Walton missed the front end, has got one more. And out of lips out, Jackson with the board. Then back down the floor with the Knights into the corner, Heaton. Heaton across the lane, outside Papula for 3. That's off the back of the iron, and Doman goes up for the board. We're going to have an over to back against Doman with the second team foul, against Lone Peak. 5:40 remaining in the opening quarter, 6-0 the lead for Lone Peak. Walton up top to Walker. Walker gives it up, 3 on the way from Johnson, and it goes in and out About 4 shots thus far for Viewmont. Goes in and out. Down the floor with Frank Jackson. Jackson now Papula on the angle. Doman for 3. And Doman connects on his second of the half. And it's now 9-0. Doman with 6 points. Back down the floor with Viewmont. Again, looking for that first field goal. That so many go in and out. Lob it inside to Johnson. Johnson lays it off the glass and good. And Viewmont gets the lid off the bucket. Now trail 9-2. Quickly back down the floor. Jumper along the baseline by Curtis is good. And it's now 11-2 for Lone Peak. Back down the floor with Aldridge. Outside to Johnson. Near side 3. Off the mark, off the hands of Richens, and I'll be out of bounds off of Viewmont. We'll go with Lone Peak. So down the floor with Lone Peak and Frank Jackson. Into the corner, Papula. Curtis cross court, Doman. Doman out to Jackson. He'll pull for 3, and Frank Jackson is his second 3. And it's now 14-2. Jackson and Doman both with 2 trays in the opening quarter. Quickly down the floor. This is Kason Larson, who just checked in. He hands off to Jameson Smith. Larson. Johnson now on the far side with Jake Walker. And they had that shot blocked by Doman. They're going to have a foul away from the ball. I believe it'll be on Frank Jackson. It'll be the 3rd team foul on Lone Peak. So Jackson will come out. That's his 2nd foul. And that ball through the hands of Walker. Quickly down the floor. Doman with the ball fake to the rim, and it crawls off. Rebound, Papula. Papula goes up with the left hand, can't get it to go, and the rebound collected by Hadlock. Quickly to the floor now, Kason Larson. Larson near side, Jameson Smith. Walker into the corner. Larson up top, Johnson. Near side with Hadlock. Again, Viewmont 1 field goal here in the early going. Johnson looking for his 2nd. Off the front of the iron, rebound to Curtis. And back down the floor with the Knights. Here's Papula. Inside out off the hands of Gunther. And we'll go the other way with Viewmont. Off the hands of Talmadge. Gunther is the starting quarterback for Lone Peak this season. Back down the floor with Viewmont. Jake Walker. He terminates. Heaton all over him. Gets behind. Gets it to Jameson Smith. Smith loses the handle. Heaton picks it up ahead to Gunther, who loses the handle. And quickly tracked down by Kason Larson. Back down the floor on the run. Here's Jameson Smith, and he'll slow things up for Viewmont. 2:45 remaining in the opening quarter. Up top of Johnson. On the angle with Smith. Heaton out with him. Heaton crossed the lane outside to Johnson. Johnson on the baseline, swatted away by Heaton, and will stay here. 2.5 remaining in the quarter. Quickly inbound, here's Larson. Larson to Walker in the corner. Walker down the lane, Walker to the hoop. Jackknifes it up, can't get it to go. Johnson with the board, gets back to Larson for 3, and it lips out. Rebound to Curtis. Now on the push with Papula, he'll actually slow it up. 2:10 remaining in the opening quarter. Curtis, long range 2, and Curtis now with 4 points, and another timeout for Coach Emery. 2:01 remaining in the quarter, 16-2 the lead for Lone Peak. So after the timeout, back down the floor, here's Larson. Larson near side. That was Cole Hewish. Walker had that ball picked off by Doman. Doman tips it ahead, goes to the hole, and finishes. And Doman now with 8 points. Back down the floor with Larson and the Vikings. Here's Walker. Walker up top with Hadlock, now on the angle with Larson. Here's Smith. Now Hewish. Hewish dribbled right into Papula, but able to hang on, and he gives it up to Hadlock. Straight away with Hewish. Hewish now to Walker. 1:15 on the clock. On the angle, Hewish for 3. Leaves it short, and a rebound to Hadlock. We're going to have a loose ball foul, and that will go against Hadlock. Be the first team foul on Viewmont. So back down the floor with Lone Peak. Here's Heaton up top to Doman. Now Curtis. Papula is fouled along the baseline. Second team foul against Viewmont. Doman quickly inbounds. Papula for three, and that's too strong. Curtis at the board, and they'll reset the offense. Now Doman. Now Papula in the corner. Heaton for three, and he kisses the side of the backboard off the mark. 40 seconds on the clock. Quickly on the push with Viewmont possibly looking for the final shot of the quarter. That ball's tipped away and then picked off by Doman. 30 seconds on the clock. Coach Lewis asking for the final shot from his team. He wanted the last possession too. 20 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Here Papula with Frank Jackson and Doman, both of the pair of threes. Curtis chipping in with 4. And Doman also has 8 points in the quarter. 5 seconds in the corner. Gunther is fouled, and there's 2.6 seconds remaining in the opening quarter. Foul was on the floor, inbound to Jackson for 3, and Jackson's fouled on the attempt, and he'll go to the line to shoot 3 free throws. Jackson made the first, missed the second. Still 0.3 seconds remaining in the quarter as Jackson gets 2 out of 3, now with 8 points. And that'll do it for the first quarter. And a strong first quarter from Lone Peak. They lead 20-2 over Viewmont. Had a little clock malfunction. Viewmont will start the ball in the second quarter. Had a lot of shots lip out in that first quarter. They'll make it a tough night if they don't start to fall. Hand off to Walker. Walker gives up to Johnson. Austin Johnson, leading scorer in the year for Viewmont. In the corner to Walker. Walker terminates. Being hounded, now kicks it across court. This is Smith. Jameson Smith, step back. Jay is good. Gets a nice reaction from the crowd. He breaks the ankles of Doman, and it's 20-4. Nice play from Jameson Smith. Back down the floor with Frank Jackson. Jackson down the lane is fouled by Kason Larson. That'll be the 15th foul against Viewmont. Frank Jackson inbounds into Curtis, up top to Doman. Doman had 8 points in the opening quarter, along with Frank Jackson's 8. Here's Curtis, kicks it back to Frank Jackson. Jackson off the screen, straight away 3, and Frank Jackson now with 3 threes in the first half, and it's now 23-4. Jackson with 11. 6:45 remaining in the second quarter. Back down the floor, here's Jameson Smith, out top to Larson. Smith will pull for 3. Quickly down the floor now with Pula. Pula down the lane with the left hand and got bumped and fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 free throws. That's a 16th foul on Viewmont. Pula made the first and rims out the second. And we're going to have a foul against Lone Peak's number 31. That's Braxton Bruni. 16 fouls on Viewmont, 14 fouls on Lone Peak. Johnson fouled on the shot. Couldn't get it to go, but he'll go to the line and shoot 2 free throws. It's the 15th foul on the Knights. Made the first, and the second rolls off. And we have a loose ball foul against Viewmont. First free throw was good from Bruni. And the second, back iron, the rebound to Walton. Now up the floor with Viewmont. Here comes Walker. 6:15 remaining in the second quarter. Here's Smith. Gets it inside to Johnson. Johnson trying to go backside, back to Smith. Smith again, step back jumper, too strong. And the rebound to Bruni. Ahead to Spencer Johnson. Johnson down the lane, around the defender, and lays it up and in. Nice job of avoiding the contact. Is Nick Curtis able to finish that? 27-5 the lead now for Lone Peak. Walker drops it inside to Johnson. No, nice reverse. And score for Austin Johnson. Now with 4 points. Quickly down the floor. Pardon me, with 5 points. Papula in the corner. Baseline J from Curtis. And Curtis once again, a little baseline jumper. And timeout, Coach Emery. 5:28 remaining in the second quarter. 29-7, Lone Peak. So after the timeout, back down the floor with Viewmont. There's Smith. That's Josh Richens. They made that bucket earlier, misidentified him. Back down the, here's Smith. Outside to Walker. Walker. Now Johnson will step into a three. And Austin Johnson from downtown. And it's 29-10. See if Johnson can get hot. Here's Sai Papula. Loses his footing, now trapped. Gets it inside out. Three on the way from Jackson. That's off the mark. And the rebound collected by Walton. Austin Johnson gives it up to Walker. Walker yet to get going. Johnson for three. Back-to-back threes for Austin Johnson. Now got 11 points. Frank Jackson down the lane. We're going to have a foul on the, no, and get with the carry. Carry on Frank Jackson, wipe off the bucket. That'll be Viewmont ball. 4:25 remaining in the first half. See if the Vikings continue to feed Austin Johnson. Get back-to-back threes. And Papula with the steal, getting ahead to Curtis. Curtis goes to the hole and lays it up and in. And it's now 31-13. Mentioned interesting week for Lone Peak. Play tonight and play Friday against Redemption Christian from Massachusetts. And then they'll travel to the Tarkanian Classic down in Las Vegas. There's Josh Johnson. Now on the angle to Smith. And working back around 3:45 now showing on the clock. Up top, Walton. Here's Jake Walker. Walker in the lane, and he's going to be fouled by Doman. It's a 16 foul on Lone Peak. Quickly inbounded. Is it Aldridge? Went back Jake Walker, now top Aldridge. 3:25 on the rolling clock in the second quarter. Aldridge loses his footing, goes to the floor. Papula knocks it loose. Ball is still loose now. Jump ball. Possession arrow belongs to Lone Peak. Back down the floor with Lone Peak after the jump ball. Here's Papula. A tough shooting night for Papula. Now Jackson. Jackson, nice move, hard to the hole. The left hand can't finish. Rebound to Bruni, and they're going to get in with an offensive foul on the loose ball for the rebound. And it'll be the 17th foul. Both teams will be in the bonus for the remaining 3 minutes. Johnson made the front end. And gets them both. 31-15. Johnson having a strong first half. 30 points unofficially. Back down the floor with Frank Jackson. High post to Curtis into the corner. Papula down the baseline. He lost that handle. Ball goes out of bounds. We're going to say off Viewmont, and we'll stay here. Papula inbounds into Doman. He just stays in bounds. And then say he stepped out. It's out of bounds. Turnover. We'll go with Viewmont. 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining in the first half. Here's Walker. Hewish. Oh, danger pass. Got that with the Walton. Walton had that slapped away. Curtis ahead to Papula. Papula will go up and finish. They had Walker between him and the bucket. Nice finish by Papula. 33-15. Lone Peak back down the floor. Here's Aldridge. Into Walton. Walton gives it back to Aldridge. High floating shot off the mark. Rebound tracked down by Jackson. Jackson ahead to Papula. Papula goes up with the left hand and finish. Oh, nice finish on the foul. Is number 22, Cole Hewish. And it'll be an and one opportunity for Papula. There's a +1 for Papula. Back rim. And the rebound saved in by Heaton in the hands of Curtis. There's Frank Jackson inside of 2 minutes, down a minute 55. Jackson splits the hedge, hard of the hole and finish. How about Frank Jackson decommitting from BYU, now wide open. Coaching the nation. They're going to take a look at Frank Jackson. Oh, Austin Johnson just could not get out with a drop. Papula on the run. Minute 35 remaining. Kicks it out. Talmadge thought about three. He loses the handle, gets it back to Heaton. Heaton across the lane. They say travel. Wipe off the bucket. We'll go the other way. Here's Cole Hewish, minute 20 remaining in the first half. Walker looking inside the Hadlock, can't get it to him. Hewish up top, Johnson pulls for three, and he's fouled. Foul on Frank Jackson. It'll be 3 free throws for Austin Johnson. Johnson hit the first 2 and hits all 3. 37-18. Jackson comes out of the game. That's his 3rd foul. 1 minute remaining in the half. Here's Curtis. Curtis had a strong first half. Hands off to Talmadge Gunther. Double team comes. Gunther gives it up to Curtis. Timeout taken by Coach Lewis. 47 seconds remaining in the first half. Papula inbounds to Heaton, back to Papula. 45 seconds down the clock. Papula is going to draw the foul, but it will be against Austin Johnson. 1-on-1 free throws come to Papula. Papula made the front end and hits the second. 39-18. 43 seconds remaining in the half. Back down the floor with Walker. Hadlock loses the handle to Spencer Curtis. He hands back to Papula. Papula ahead, 3 on the way and off the mark. Off the hands of Frampton. Out of bounds off of Lone Peak and Heaton. We'll go with Viewmont. So back down the floor with Jackson and Viewmont. Terminates, gets it out to Smith. Smith down the lane, hard of the hole, and can't finish. The rebound is collected by Curtis. 10 seconds remaining in the hands of Papula. Jackson on the bench with 3 fouls. Here's Spencer Curtis, 3 seconds. And he loses the handle. It's still loose, 1 second. And not a shot will get off before the end of the half. At the end of 2 quarters, Lone Peak 39, Viewmont 18. High School Rewind is excited to have Nudge as our Player of the Game sponsor. Nudge is one of the fastest growing companies in Utah Valley. With over 500 employees, Nudge is one of the largest contributors of volunteer community outreach programs. To learn more about Nudge and their program, visit www.nudge.com. Start of the second half for the Viewmont Vikings in possession. Austin Johnson and Frank Jackson both 13 points in the first half. Jackson with 15. Off the window and good. Walton. And quickly down the floor with Frank Jackson. You got 3 fouls there in the first half. You have to be smart. Only 2 fouls remaining. Curtis. Papula loses the handle. Picked up by Heaton. Cross court, Frank Jackson. Jackson pull-up jumper at the free throw line. Off the mark and a rebound collected by Aldridge. Now Walker. Here's Aldridge. Aldridge up top to Johnson. Johnson had a strong first half. Second quarter, he had 2 threes. Walker still scoreless, not any longer. Jake Walker with a deep 3, and it's now 39-23. 6:45 remaining in the third quarter. That down the floor. Here's Papula. Out top to Frank Jackson. Jackson pull up 3, leaves it short. Tipped back by Curtis, picked up by the Vikings on the run. Walker, transition 3, looking for the and 1, didn't get either. And a rebound collected by Heaton. Ahead to Papula. Papula now to Jackson. Jackson shuffled his feet and travels. And we'll go back with Viewmont. So back down the floor with Aldridge and the Vikings. Near side Richens on the angle. to Jake Walker. Walker now up top, Aldridge on the angle with Johnson. Drops it inside, off the bump. Walker with the bucket. That would have been the fourth foul on Jackson had it been whistled. And it's now 39 to 25. Walker coming alive here in the third quarter. Cross court, Heeden. Thought about three and hangs on. Working on Walton into the corner. Baseline jumper again from Curtis. Know your role and do it well. And that's what Curtis has done throughout this ball game. Quickly down the floor. Johnson. Three on the way and off the mark from Richens. Offensive board, Aldridge. Hands back Johnson, now back to Walker. Aldridge will reset. 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Here's Richens on the angle. Drop it into Walton. Walton going to work, gets around his defender and leaves it short. He had a smaller Doman and just did not finish. Here's Apula on the run. Apula around the defender and get him with the block. Apula tried to get away from the contact. The foul will go against Austin Johnson. Apula hits them both. Back up the floor with Aldridge. Nice little start to the half for Viewmont. And a steal by Doman. And Doman is fouled by Walker. A little frustration out of that. And it'll be the second team foul against Viewmont. Inbound in to Curtis. Now Jackson. Jackson on the angle. Doman pump fake along the baseline. Hard to the hole. Leaves it short. And it'll be a two-shot foul coming the way of Doman. Doman misses the second free throw. Curtis at the board, and then we're going to have offensive basket interference on Heeden. Wipe off the bucket. 43 to 25 with 4:40 remaining in the third quarter. Back down the floor come the Vikings. Smith gives it up to Walton, kicks it out. Walker, pump fake three, pulls three. Can't get it to go. Apula with the board, now on the run with the Knights. Here's Jackson. Jackson around defenders, takes a bump from Walton and finishes. Nice take and finish by Frank Jackson. Now 45 to 25. Back down the floor with Walker and the Vikings. Walker into the corner. Try to get into Johnson. We got a foul away from the ball. It'll be the first team foul. No, they're going to call it on Viewmont. Fourth team foul on the Vikings. 20-point differential, 45 to 25. Outside of Apula. Apula pull up Jay. Rattles in and out, rebound to Johnson. Now on the run, Walker. Up top, Johnson. Now Larson. Larson still looking. Up top to Johnson. Johnson working off the dribble, and he's fouled by Apula on the drive. Be a foul on the floor in the first team foul against Lone Peak. Trigger in to Hadlock. Up top to Larson. Now Smith. Three on the way from Walker, and that's off the mark. Was on line, just a little too strong. Quickly on the push. Oh, stolen by Larson. 1-on-2. Gives it up to Johnson. It was behind him. Off of his hands. We'll go to Lone Peak. Back down the floor. Smith said it's off of Talmadge Gunther the whole time. They're going to keep it here. Inbound into Curtis. He hands back to Frank Jackson. Jackson working off the dribble. Off the window, and again fouled. Two-shot foul coming the way of Frank Jackson. First free throw good from Jackson. And rattles out the second rebound, taken by Heeden. Now Jackson. Jackson for three off the mark. And the rebound taken by Johnson. 2:40 on a rolling clock in the third quarter. Back down the floor with Larson. Here's Smith. Now on the angle. Richens. Up top, Larson. On the angle to Smith. Smith tried to drop it in. Johnson gets it to him. Johnson hard to the hole and a foul. Foul will be on Talmadge Gunther. That's his second team foul on the Knights. It'll be an and one opportunity for Johnson. Johnson for the and one. And a nice night for Alex Johnson. They're now with 18 points. Here's Heeden. 18-point game, drop it into Apula. Apula back and Smith down, left-hand hook, no. Tipped up by Curtis, can't get it to go. That's off of Lone Peak, and they'll go with Viewmont. So down the floor with Larson, 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Larson now to Hewish. Hewish hits Johnson rolling to the hoop, can't hang on to it. Turnover, go back to Lone Peak. There's Curtis. Straight away, Doman. Now Jackson pulls for three. Bumped on the shot. He can't get it to go. Tipped down and taken by Jackson. Jackson hard of the hole. And are you give it the charge? That'll be the fourth personal foul on Frank Jackson. He'll come out. Talmadge Gunther will check in for him. Luckily for Frank Jackson, he had his chance to spend some time with TJ Haas last year. A lot of stuff said as he was headed to the bench. Player with 4 fouls. Drop it in, Johnson off the mark, and a rebound to Pua. And he'll bring it up the floor. Minute 10 remaining in the third quarter. Pua backs it out. Now to Curtis. Curtis fall away jumper. Nate Austin-like, but it comes off the rim. And now we're going to have a foul on Doman. That's the fourth team foul on Lone Peak. So back down the floor. Into the corner, Smith, drop it in, Johnson, power dribble, off the window, crawled out. Got his own board, goes up, and he's fouled. And Austin Johnson will go to the line to shoot 2.
Lone Peak foul.
Johnson made the first, missed the second, quick it down the floor. Here's Apula with 40 seconds remaining. Apula now on the angle to Talmadge Gunther. 30 seconds. Slow third quarter for Lone Peak. And a strong showing for Viewmont. He's unable to close the gap. Here's Apula. 18 seconds now down to 15. Longest possession of the night for the Knights. On the angle, this is Garrett Frampton, 8 seconds. Curtis for 3, leaves it short. Heeden saves it into the hands of Larson, 3 seconds. 2 seconds is counted for goals from Smith, and that's off the mark. And at the end of 3, it's a 17-point lead for Lone Peak, 46-29. Start of the fourth quarter. Lone Peak ball. Here's Heeden. Heeden working off the dribble, goes out. Walton kicks it out to Apula. Apula will back it up. Apula with some nice ball work. And we get him with a travel. Tough second half. It failed to note that Christian Papula is only a sophomore. Somewhat of a trend with Coach Lewis ever since the young Tyler Haas started 4 years for him. Back in the great days of Tyler Haas and CJ Wilcox. Walton with the hook. 15-point game, 46-31. Crowd reaction make it feel much closer. Heeden for 3 off the mark. Rebound pulled down by Larson. Larson baseball pass ahead. Walker is fouled, couldn't finish. That'll go against Heeden. That's the 16th foul against Lone Peak. First free throw no good from Walker. The second is, and it's now a 14-point game. 46-32, 7 minutes remaining in the final frame. Up top, Pula. He'll hand to Doman. Doman now to Curtis. Curtis working off the dribble out to Papula. Now Gunther. Coach Lewis wanting a long possession. And a foul on the floor. That's a 16th foul against Viewmont. Jackson inbounds. He gets it back. Jackson working on 4 fouls. Floats it up. No. Tipped out and a rebound claimed by Aldridge. Nice bounce pass ahead to Walker. And Walker lays it up and in. 12-point ball game, 46-34. Frank Jackson will walk it into the front court. Again, Jackson working on 4 fouls. Got to be smart. Austin Johnson comes out to defend him. Johnson, I believe, has 2. Here's Curtis. Curtis hands back Doman. Doman backs up, gets it on to Jackson on the angle. Now into Curtis. Curtis working on the smaller Larson, and we're going to have Larson on the foul on the drive. It'll be 1-on-1 free throws coming away of Curtis. Big Colin Nick Spencer all night. We apologize. First time seeing Lone Peak since the championship game. Made the first and rolls off the second. Larson really falls out of bounds and saves it into Johnson. 13-point ball game, 47-34. The Viewmont hang around. Remember that 5th foul on Jackson looming on Lone Peak at the moment. Austin Johnson working off a screen. We got an illegal screen against Viewmont. That'll go against Ben Barrett. Back down the floor with the Pula and the Knights. Here's Doman into the corner. Frank Jackson down the baseline. Jackson can't get it to go. Curtis with the board, and he's fouled. And Nick Curtis will go back to the line to shoot 2. Curtis made the first. Front rim's his second. And the rebound. The same by the Vikings. They're lost. Johnson gets it back, hands it off to Walton. And now James Smith will hand it off to Walker. Walker on the angle with Ben Barrett. Barrett trying to get into Johnson. We got a foul on Apula. And that'll be 1-on-1 free throws coming away of Austin Johnson. First free throw was good on the front end of 1-on-1. And Johnson hits the second. 12-point ball game, 48-36. Strong second half for Viewmont. And taking advantage of a lackluster half from Lone Peak. Frank Jackson working off the screen. Hands off to Doman. Not nearly as crisp of a 2 quarters for Lone Peak. Dropping in Apula. Young sophomore faces up and too strong. Rebound and then a foul on the board with Braxton Bruni. He's fouled. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 free throws. First free throw was good for Bruni. Second rolls off. And a rebound collected by Barrett. 49-36. Will be the bonus both all the way. It'll be 2 shots for Lone Peak. 1-on-1 free throws till 10 for Viewmont. Here's Walker. And Walker is going to draw the foul on Doman. And 1-on-1 free throws coming up for Walker. And both free throws good from Walker. An 11-point game, 49-38. Here's Jackson. Jackson in the lane. Jackson hard to the hole, and they get the blocking call against Viewmont. That will go against Walton. 2 free throws coming the way of Frank Jackson. Both free throws were good for Frank Jackson with a timeout from Coach Lewis. 51-38. 4:15 remaining in the 4th quarter. Can Viewmont continue to pressure and push to stay in this ball game and get it down to single digits? They find Johnson. Probably should have come down with it. He didn't. Gets his own board, goes back up, leaves it short. Ball still loose off of Lone Peak and will stay here. Inbound to Walton. Walton up top, Johnson. Johnson now to Smith. Walker a deep 3. And Walker from downtown. Here's where the volleyball strike. And it's now 51-41. Put it down the floor. Here's Doman. Cross court, Frank Jackson. Jackson hard to the hole, and got him with the charge, and that's number 5 on Jackson. And his night is over. Frank Jackson will go to the bench with 3:27 remaining in the fourth quarter in a 10-point ball game. So back down the floor after Frank Jackson goes out. Up top to Walker, who just hit that deep three. I don't think they can be able to hang in by taking perimeter shots. Going to find some way to get the ball inside. Backside to Johnson, pump fake along the baseline, can't get it to go. Tipped up, and it'll be a 2-shot foul. See if they get it to Barrett or Johnson. Austin Johnson hit the first. And the second. It's an 8-point ball game. Double penalty, double bonus for both teams with the remaining 3 minutes in this fourth quarter. Again, Frank Jackson fouled out. The Lone Peak be in trouble against Viewmont. Doman fouled by Austin Johnson. 2 free throws coming to Doman. Doman made the first. That was the 5th personal foul on Austin Johnson. So the 2 leading scorers in this ball game, both on the bench. 53-43. 2:45 remaining in the fourth quarter. And that ball out of bounds off of Doman will stay here. Here's Walker. Walker's gonna have to be big for Viewmont now with Austin Johnson on the bench. Walton up top. Walker thought about 3 and held on. Kicked it into the corner. Smith for 3. That's off the mark. And Barrett fouled on the board. And it'll be a 2-shot foul with the bonus for Viewmont. First free throw was no good, or pardon me, was good from Barrett. He hits them both. 53-45. Tyson Doman fouled out on that foul. So a lot of pieces leaving the floor for Lone Peak. 2:20 remaining. And now again another cheap foul on Smith. Cannot foul him this far away from the hoop. Frampton missed the first free throw. And buries the second. 54-45. 2:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. Region 1 has been tough on Lone Peak. Had an opening night against Layton, very tough, and now tonight. 3 on the way from Aldridge. And Aldridge buries the 3, and it's a 6-point ball game. 54-48 with 2 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Papula on the angle to Frampton. Frampton up top to Curtis. Remember, Lone Peak could just force Viewmont to come out and foul him. They don't have to put the ball in the air. And he walked. Traveling violation against Papula. And it'll be Viewmont ball. 54-48 out of the timeout, down to minute 40. Aldridge. There's Smith. Smith works off the screen, working on Frampton. He has back to Walker. Guarded by Curtis. Now up top Aldridge, who just hit that 3. They got the 2 biggest guys and the 2 best shooters on the floor for Viewmont. Smith working on the dribble. Smith, left hand. They're going to call no bucket on the floor. It'll be a 2-shot foul coming the way of Jamison Smith. No continuation in high school. First free throw, no good from Smith. And he misses the second. And the rebound taken by Gunther. Takes a lot of wind out of the sail for Viewmont. Again, Lone Peak does not have to put the ball in the air. 1:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. They can force all fouls down the stretch. But pull it down the lane, and the sophomore is going to go to the line to shoot 2 free throws with 1:09 remaining in the fourth quarter. Free throws are good, 56-48. Here's Walker. On the angle to Smith. Up top, Barrett on the angle now. Aldridge, now Walker. Walker a deep 3, and that's off the mark. Barrett with the board. We got a foul on Frampton. Barrett will go to the line to shoot 2. First free throw was no good. Barrett missed. Oh, got the second. Thought I was going to kick off. 56-49. Inbound in Papula. Papula back to Frampton. Down to Curtis. Down to 45 seconds. Looking for the 10-second call. They didn't get it. Papula out to Heaton. Viewmont's going to have to start fouling to extend this ball game. Papula down the lane. And now we'll have a foul. It'll be 2 shots coming the way of Papula. Papula made the first and the second. Oh man, has calmed down the stretch. It was a gallant effort from Viewmont that closed it down to 6. He's unable to push it through. Austin Johnson, leading scorer, went out. Here's Aldridge, fall away jumper, won't go, and the rebound taken by Frampton with 24 seconds left. Here Papula. Now Papula will be fouled by Smith, and he'll go to the line to shoot 2 free throws. It's been ice from the free throw line. Now up to 10 points, and now to 11. 60-49 with 20 seconds remaining. Working off the crossover, stolen by Gunther. Papula, and we're going to have offensive on this one. And we'll wipe off the bucket, and we'll go the other way. Call actually went against Viewmont. Papula made the first and the second. 62-49 with 6 seconds remaining. Quickly down the floor with Aldridge. Aldridge a pull for 3, lips out, and that'll do it. Viewmont game was scared down the stretch, but Lone Peak able to pull away with free throw shooting in the 4th quarter, and they win this one 62-49. Stay tuned for our post-game wrap-up and our Nudge Player of the Game selection. All right, welcome back to Viewmont High School. Again, our final score, the Lone Peak Knights 62 and the Viewmont Vikings 49. And the game is a lot closer down the stretch than really you thought it would be throughout the ball game. It was a large 20-point-plus lead most of the night for Lone Peak, but in the 3rd and 4th quarter, Viewmont slowly started chipping away. And with 3:21 remaining in the 4th, Frank Jackson, the leading scorer for Lone Peak, went out of the ball game, fouled out, and thought opportunities would be there for Viewmont. Hit a big 3, pulled within 6, but then it was clutch free throw shooting and missed opportunities for Viewmont down the stretches. Lone Peak able to pull away in this one and get the 13-point win. Our Nudge Player of the Game is going to go to the young sophomore, Christian Papula. We could have gone with Frank Jackson, but Papula hit the big free throws down the stretch and iced this game away for Lone Peak when really they got put a scare in them by Viewmont. Region 1, we mentioned during the broadcast, have been very tough on Lone Peak. Layton took him 73-70 down on Lone Peak, and then tonight Viewmont pulled within 6 and gave him a ball game. Look at Viewmont, a lot of bright spots for the Vikings. I thought Austin Johnson played very, very well. Jake Walker turned it on in the second half. And then you also had Braden Aldridge, who had some clutch threes as well. Thought there was a lot of pieces here for Coach Emery to play very, very well. And for Lone Peak, we mentioned it. If you've watched our 5A preview show, we talked about who's going to be the 2nd and 3rd act for Lone Peak this season. That's still going to be seen. Look right now, Papula will step into that role, and also Nick Curtis has played very, very well. But you're going to have a number of guys step up and help out with Frank Jackson as they play a very, very tough schedule here in the early part of the season. But also, they're looking for their 5th consecutive 5A state championship. You'll need that guy or 2 guys to step up to win their 5th straight for Coach Quincy Lewis and the Knights. Well, again, our final score, the Lone Peak Knights 62, the Viewmont Vikings 49. Our Nudge Player of the Game, Christian Papula, the young sophomore for the Lone Peak Knights. Congratulations to the Knights on a nice win and a big weekend coming up. Good luck down at Tarkanian Classic. Again, our final score, Lone Peak 62, Viewmont 49. Our Nudge Player of the Game, Christian Papula. For Vince Francis, I'm Dusty Lister. Thanks for joining us and watching High School Rewind, only on Xfinity On Demand.